What can Tracee Ellis Ross and Shannon Sharpe teach us about relationships? Grab your stick, grab your drink. Let's get into this thing right now.
Pop it, smoke it, drink it down. With your voice, it got you around. Feel the vibe, we're set to roll. Let's play, let's lose control. Sip a drink and smoke will swirl. Join the convo around the world. Relationships we dissect slow. Current events, we let them flow.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming right back at you, man. And you know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast on the Real Cigar. Jeff, y'all do me a favor, man. Get down in the description. Support the channel. Get the merch. Make sure, guys, you look at some of my new links down there. You need your boy JB, the Real Cigar Jeff, to shout you out for your birthday or that special day. Shout somebody out that you care about. Hit the Cameo link. Your boy's on Cameo. Also, for all of y'all who are done with church but still want some spirituality, check out my other channel, Jeff's Sunday Service. Just launched that, man. Make sure you pay attention to that channel. I'm going to put the little card up there. Y'all know if y'all make it to the end, you'll see the card. You can just click on it then. But it's also in the description. What can Tracee Ellis Ross and Shannon Sharpe teach us about relationships? Y'all know, man, whenever I have a discussion on relationships, I got to bring in my celebrity expert who looking like a celebrity relationship expert tonight. Y'all see glasses, hair, laid, all that kind of stuff. She looking good tonight, man. Y'all get down in the comments. Y'all get down in the comments. And the print shirt. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell y'all what she's sipping on tonight for the podcast.
Thanks, JB, for having me back. All these doggone titles. I don't know who I am anymore. Maybe that's the intention. I mean, to who I am. No, man, you know, you got this Prince week for me. You know, he passed away. The anniversary of his death was yesterday, so I'm rocking Prince all week. And this is one of my favorites. I'm going to wear this one that often. So I'm rocking that. And again, I'm going to probably run it back till this bottle is gone. My cookies and cream.
You only drinking it when on the podcast?
That's it.
That thing been lasting a long time.
That's the only time. I only had it for like 2-3 weeks. That's the third week right here. But this time I poured me a full glass, however many shots that is. That's what we got tonight.
Hey, we getting into it. You're going to need it tonight.
I don't know if I want to need it. Yeah.
Appreciate my resident celebrity relationship expert, man. Y'all ain't looked down the glasses tightened up. As soon as she came in, y'all, I'm getting my hair cut this week. As soon as I saw hers, I had to go brush mine down. I ain't podcast so that's special.
Shout out to Bria.
Okay.
BH3. Yeah. Y'all follow her on Instagram.
Y'all follow on the gram.
Yeah, follow on the gram.
Yeah, y'all want to get your wig tight now. You got to get that wig snatched.
Tight without it being tight. Yes.
Yeah.
Rocking my gray since I'm perimenopausal.
I was waiting for her to say
every week. It's gonna be that till I get through.
Y'all pray for her. Y'all pray for her.
No, send me some
estrogen.
Send me some estrogen. We good.
Appreciate you being on, man. Y'all know I'm getting through my box of Nub by Oliva, the Habano wrapper, man. I love the cigar. One of my favorites. One of the ones I smoke in the house. And of course, even though I ain't feel like doing no dishes, y'all see my mule that I made. And instead of regular vodka, y'all can see I had to pull out my stolen blueberry. Pulled out my stolen blueberry. And for all y'all who don't believe I'm upscale, that's that Fever Tree ginger beer right there. Y'all know we upscale over here. I couldn't just put any ginger beer in my mule and squeeze a little lime juice in it to set off the sweetness a little bit. But we into this thing, guys. We getting into this thing tonight. What can we learn from Tracee Ellis Ross and Shannon Sharpe about relationships? Rhonda, when you got the podcast topic, which was this morning, what's the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, I was like, man, these are two totally different situations, in my opinion, as far as the backstory to it. But at the end of the day, I guess everybody wants a person and a special person. That's probably the only similarity that I that I got with these two topics today, especially after reading what I've read. I'm a little traumatized based on my
Yeah,
lifestyle. I'm a little traumatized.
I said, yeah, man, can't be discussing that. That's the work of the devil. Some of the stuff I done read today.
I ain't say
Can't
that
be
there.
talking
I
about
ain't
that.
say that. I ain't say that part.
Well, just Sunday service launch. I got to be careful now. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't.
I'm a.
If anything, you got more permission to wear church folks and Christians on there.
Well, that's true. That's
Whatever.
true.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, I got to tell y'all. The reason why I told Rhonda we were going to do this podcast tonight is a couple things. I got a couple articles we may share. We may not share. Yeah, Rhonda and I did the Michelle and Barack Obama podcast last week. Rhonda, you remember
Yes,
that?
let them lead.
When
Let
we
them
talked
cook.
about
Let them cook,
when we
man. Let them
when
cook.
we talked about their divorce.
Let them cook.
But one of the things that happened on Michelle Obama's podcast last week, was she had Tracee Ellis Ross up there, and I was going to do a podcast just on Tracee Ellis Ross. And then when the stuff started happening with Shannon Sharpe, I said, Rhonda and I got to get into this. And the reason, Rhonda, I might
Do it.
bring these articles out. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this thing because, look, NBA playoffs going on tonight. I ain't got
Yes, come
Rhonda
on,
much longer.
because
So
Ja is
here's
on.
the
Ja
deal.
is playing. Mm-hmm.
Man, they losing. But look, it's
Man, why? Let them cook. That's gonna be my new line. Let them cook.
so I got to tell y'all guys, we're going to jump right into this thing. I didn't think there were any similarities until I got the details about Shannon Sharpe. And Rhonda, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there because guys, I love reading articles and stuff like that. But sometimes you got to let spirit flow.
Mm.
And so I'm going to tell you, Rhonda, when I saw it, one of the things Tracee Ellis Ross talked about, she only dates younger men. She only dates younger men. Okay. Well, Shannon Sharpe then got caught up. 56-year-old man dealing with a woman that he met when she was 19. What can we learn, guys? What can we learn? These people are dating younger people. People are dating younger people, Rhonda. And I think this thing is creating a problem. Y'all better make sure just because there's a minimum admission age, you probably don't need to go that low. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you think when you hear me say that.
Well, I think for most humans, and I think if the law says you could go that low, that's the lowest you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to go. Let me say it like that. The law says you could go that low, right? And so, but anybody that has some sense about them when it comes to that, it's kind of like, come on, dude. Somebody that's 19, they may be 18 and
Mm-hmm.
a half, but do you still tag it like, do you still do
She
do
asked
you
me, y'all. She said,
do you still, you know, just still use some discernment. Go, plug into Jeff Sunday service for some discernment and see how, see if that could help you with that. But again, when you look at, you could tell Shannon wants somebody. You could tell he does, man. Like, now whether he wants to be married and all that, I don't know, but you could tell that the way he sounds like when on his platform that he has, that yeah, I'm open to have somebody, but I don't know no 40+ year old legs that's gonna get back there like that. From what I read, what you sent me, I'm like, oh, okay, sir, okay, we could try. I can't walk tomorrow, but okay, you know.
it's funny. It's
And I
funny.
think and mentally, I think that plays a role in it too. It's easier for me to have somebody younger that's not going to challenge me in certain ways, but in the bedroom.
Right?
So,
And then now, it's funny, Rhonda, you say that. It's funny you say that. And y'all, I got the articles, but now the more I think about it, I say I probably don't need to bring them
mm-mm,
up.
mm-mm.
YouTube might try to censor it and all this kind of stuff, and I
Mm-mm.
don't even want to get into that. Come me and
Right.
Rhonda could just flow from the dome on this thing. Y'all can go Google. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the articles, I'm going to link them in the description. And then y'all can decide to go um, follow it. But I think by now, all of y'all are going to hear and know what happened with the Tracee Ellis Ross podcast with Michelle Obama as it relates to younger men and what's now going on with Shannon Sharpe. Now, what I would tell you, Rhonda, is I'm going to repeat one of my famous statements, guys, especially when it comes to African Americans. Now, it may not apply to Tracee Ellis Ross as much as it's going to apply to Shannon Sharpe. But when it comes to African Americans, we get taught how to thrive in being poor. but we don't get taught how to operate in being rich. And if you read some of the story with Shannon Sharpe, the girl made him back out of having an NDA signed. And one of the things you guys are going to understand is when you get to another level, your desires should raise with your levels. But I can tell y'all like this, right? I remember when I started eating sushi, started eating
I
ahi
don't know what I
tuna.
thought you was about to say, but go ahead.
When I when I started eating sushi, when I started eating ahi tuna, right? When I first started eating it, I would only eat it because business was because business was on the line.
Hmm.
But while I was eating it, guys, see, if you eating sushi or eating tuna, you know you're eating at a high quality restaurant, or you're eating with somebody who's doing business. That's what it typically was back when I first started. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this: I was craving my fried catfish, but I couldn't take those same prospects to Cracker Barrel because you're not gonna get a business
Or to
deal if
Mayflower,
you or the Mayflower, right? You can't get that same business deal if you take on the Mayflower
if they
or
real,
Capital Bread. Oh, I
if
mean,
they
or
real.
Cracker Barrel. But guess what, guys? Here's what happens: their reel is different than my reel.
Hmm.
And when you learn that there's different definitions depending on different levels, Tracee Ellis Ross talked about dating younger men. Shannon Sharpe is caught up in $100 million lawsuit because of dating younger women. And one of the things y'all got to understand is Black people got to figure it out as we go because nobody ever teaches us what to do when we get there. Everything about our upbringing and our culture is about holding on to what your bondage was, not embracing what your freedom is. So Shannon Sharpe, guys, Shannon Sharpe and Tracee Ellis, they're dating younger people. Here's my impression, Rhonda. They're dating younger people. Rhonda said it earlier. Whatever age I choose, that's the age where I felt like I was in control of my life. Because right now I'm not in control of it. Shannon Sharpe just last week was in the news because he had $100 million. They were expecting his media company to get $100 million deal because his current media contract is coming up. And now in less than 7 days, he got a $50 million lawsuit. You know
Well,
why,
but
guys?
that's why that
Go
thing
ahead.
came up, right? Like that's why he did that video, right? Not too long ago,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with him naming names who's actually after him, and
absolutely.
why that allegedly, um,
Absolutely, guys.
allegedly after him and stuff like that. Um, I I don't remember Tracy saying the age of how young she
Yes.
has dated, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think for a woman, anybody that's younger than her, I think gets scrutinized
Yes.
personally.
Yes.
Um, to me, seeing a man in his 50s with a girl that's barely 20, that to me, I'm like, oh, okay, really, dude? Because ain't no grown woman really gonna probably put up with
Mm-hmm.
your stuff
And for,
allegedly.
and for the record, guys, Shannon is 56, I believe. Tracee Ellis Ross is 51 or 52. So we still talking about people who pretty much grew up in the same generation.
Hmm. But
And
if
and,
she
and
dates somebody in their 30s or 40s, but she could also date someone. She could, she could
but
pull a
guys, I don't know not one 20 or 30-year-old that would turn Tracee Ellis Ross down. I don't know not one 20 or 30-year-old that would turn Shannon Sharpe down.
I think for her
And
though, she made a statement about the was it a misogyny of it all or something? It was something why she
she said
didn't
toxic
date.
masculinity.
Not
Guys
yes,
her age is
yes, yes,
toxic
yes.
masculinity.
And I
And
think
so,
that's possibly what we're seeing
well, but here's the deal.
with Shannon,
Again, let me repeat myself, guys.
allegedly.
Shannon Sharpe went to Savannah State. Shannon Sharpe got drafted out of Savannah State when he was 2021. Why is he attracted to this little girl that's in the gym? Because his life ain't belonged to him since he started playing football at college and getting drafted. Y'all got to understand, wherever you lost control of you, that's what you're going to be attracted to. Now I'm giving y'all the wisdom on this thing. When you start seeing, and I hate to say it, but when you see guys getting locked up because they done ended up messing with underage people and that kind of thing, their mindset is that age. Their physical body is a lot older, but their mindset, they don't belong. Their development stopped, and they don't feel like they've controlled themselves since that age. Why? Because why did I start Jeff Sunday service? And this ain't a shameless plug, but Rhonda know this. Growing up, all you got told was you're gonna be a little preacher one day,
Mm.
right? All you got told. That's my little preacher. He gonna be a little preacher. Blah 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 blah. But guess what, guys? Nobody that you got told that because you were in church. Nobody outside of church told you that. But
I
when
was
you
about to
grew
say,
up
who
in
said
church,
that
and
to
what
you
you
after?
did,
Yeah.
right? But
Well, you were
you
Martin
don't
Luther King,
forget
though.
those
You were
things.
Martin Luther King
I
Jr. when
was
it was
Martin Luther
time.
King.
Yeah,
I
whenever it was
did
time.
do the Martin Luther King. I have a
And you
dream.
led
Y'all gotta go.
the Chapel Grove Sunday School
And yes, well, that's true. I led the choir.
choir.
I was the president of Usher Board. Look, I was in
You checked all the
Generation X,
boxes.
right? But one of the things that happened with Shannon Sharpe, guys, and one of the things I think that happened with Tracee Ellis Ross. Even though they grew up differently, they got the same problem. Tracee Ellis Ross is trying to get a younger man because when she says toxic masculinity, most guys that are going to be her age are not going to want a co-pilot. They're going to want somebody to submit and be more softer. And
Somebody's
Tracee Ellis
child.
Ross, yeah, Tracee Ellis Ross has kind of always been that other woman rather than the main woman. And it's hard when all your experiences being the other woman, but you ain't been the main woman. And over here with Shannon
Has she
Sharpe,
been the other woman?
all the time. Yeah,
Oh,
all the
okay.
time.
Allegedly
All
or
the
for
time.
real?
Mm-mm. Well, for
Or
the
you
sake of
talking
this
in the roles
podcast,
that
allegedly, I'm talking
oh,
about in real life. In real
oh.
life.
Well, I missed that
You
part.
know, hide your husband, hide your kids type thing, as far as what the rumors say. And
Hmm.
this is the legend for the podcast. Ronald, when we hang up, I'll give you the
Oh
detail.
yeah, we need to check them sources. 'Cause
But Shannon Sharpe, guys, let's think about it. What is Shannon Sharpe dodging? We know Shannon has been accused of not having a traditional preference for women in his relationship. So you look at when a couple months ago, the alleged incident of going live on IG while engaging in intercourse, and now you got this, and you go on X right now, and you gonna have a lot of people saying like Shannon need this to get out because he would rather people saying that this is happening versus questioning his sexuality, right? So
well, I think that's
so
still in
yeah,
question. I think that's still in question,
hmm hmm
personally.
yeah, but I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Shay Shay, with that Cat Williams video, got the number one video on all of YouTube. I want to say I saw, I think when they sent me my YouTube statistics, that video has gotten 85 million views. 85 million views, number one video on YouTube in YouTube's history. That's just Club Shay Shay. Now you come over here to Nightcat, which is clearly one of the most popular uh, YouTube channels with Chad Ochocinco. He making so much bank. He making so much bank. But guys, let me tell y'all this. Let me repeat myself. We learn how to be poor. We don't learn how to be rich. And this is why when these boys come to the NFL, NBA, when black people get to a certain level, the same devil come with the same strategy. I don't care if you male or female. The same devil come with the same strategy. When y'all ask what can we learn from Tracee Ellis Ross and Shannon Sharpe, when you dating younger people, you operating in your flesh. You're not operating in the mind. Jump in there, Ronnie. Let me know what you think about it.
I guess I'm looking at it from a different standpoint. I just feel
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Tracee was definitely, career focused. Maybe it's not like it's a bunch of guys out here to choose from. That would be. And then what her mama Diana Ross and I forgot who her daddy
Yes.
was, but you know what I'm saying. But I'm like, I don't
Don't nobody
know.
know.
What stop? So, but you know what I'm saying. I just feel like I think it was easier to go down the path of her career, and I think that's how it is for a lot of women who are driven and want certain
hmm
things. But that doesn't mean they don't want a family and companionship. I just feel like you know it's hard to have both. That's consistent and as balanced as it could be based on where you are. And like something's gonna suffer. So either you're gonna have your career and have kids and be tired all the time, or you're gonna have your career, enjoy it, and going on about your business, and then end up like, hey, that is one thing that I'm missing, that I did not have kids. Or it's gonna be like, oh, let me have my family, and then your marriage tore up. But hey, at least I got
Right.
these kids.
And Rhonda just preached, guys. Rhonda just preached, right? Shannon Sharpe got multiple kids. Tracee Ellis Ross has no kids. Okay. Right. But look, what's happening is both of them have regret. So now these relationships they're getting in are surrounded by their regret versus surrounded by where they're going. And one of the things, guys, if you try to walk forward but look backwards, you're gonna run into a bunch of obstacles, right? So when I saw Tracee Ellis Ross talking about all the things she wanted, guys, Shannon Sharpe ain't no different. Shannon Sharpe didn't draw it up like this. But Black people, we got to learn on the fly because ain't nobody ever taught us how to be rich. People gonna get tired of me repeating it. But the one thing I had to learn when I had any bit of success was to not crave what I didn't succeed at in my lack.
And how did you
Right?
do with that?
No.
It's
Here's what
hard,
happens,
right?
guys. Here's what
Mm-hmm.
happens, guys. Let me tell y'all this. When life changes, okay, the one thing a lot of people don't get, when life changes, you gotta learn how to enjoy being boring. Because life is only changing because of what you do business wise. And there ain't a lot of people who want to do what you do business wise. They want to enjoy the fruits of your business. So once you understand that everybody who's around, once you get to a certain level, is only there for the fruit of your business, now you understand that I got to enjoy being by myself and I got to enjoy being bored. Right? One of the things y'all will find out about me is I love being by myself and I'm boring until the light come on. And I had to learn a lot. Rhonda got me into the whole astrology and numerology thing. And I think I'm getting a better idea of getting my hands around this Leo zodiac that I have. Because now I realize looking back on it, Rhonda, I just didn't know how to control it. I didn't know how to control it.
Oh, over.
Right? Yeah, I didn't know how to control it. But now I
Oh,
know how to control it.
do
But I
you?
got to tell y'all like this. Yes,
It's
I
hard.
got to tell y'all like this. People don't understand how to control the thirst from their previous life. Why? Your emotions are higher the more lack you have. Now, when you get to a certain level where you're not operating in lack, if you start craving those same things, the only thing waiting on you is the same thing Tracee Ellis Ross is dealing with, and unfortunately, what Shannon Sharpe. Because now you're trying to go back and control this. Shannon Sharpe, this wouldn't have been an issue had Shannon Sharpe wasn't craving being the poor boy from Georgia again. This wouldn't be happening to Tracee Ellis Ross had she not seen Diana Ross just basically have men eating out of her hand her entire life. That's why Tracee Ellis Ross can't settle down.
I
Your
don't
mama
know,
was
man. I
Diana
don't think.
Ross.
I don't
Rhonda,
think.
your mama was Diana Ross. Barry Gordy loved your mama. So, like at the end of the day, you watching all these married men love on your mama. How you gonna get into a marriage when you know I watch my mama run all these married men? Why I want to be with a married man? Same thing with Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe now has made a little bit of money. Now we're learning that this is a girl that is not of color, and she's also on OnlyFans. But why he bringing that up now? Because you didn't care when you first got with her, right? It don't matter why you bring it up now that she OnlyFans. You were in looking at the text messages and hearing the voicemail. This was clearly a lot of money changing hands back and forth. Because guess what y'all fellas got to understand? If you really want control, the money don't never stop being a requirement. And the money keep increasing that it costs to be the boss. Yeah, I'm in there, Ronnie. Let me know what you think.
I don't know, man. I, mm, I think being lonely will have you making decisions, or as the older generation would say, writing a check your butt can't cash. And I
Okay.
think, I really do think, how can he be this man that is, like you said, number one most viewed,
Oh yeah.
you
Views,
know,
bro. Podcast
like,
guy.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he's on a roll, on a roll, on a roll, and then you sit up here again without anybody, because what does society tell us? You should have somebody. You should. You good? You
So
should be. You
I'm
on
over here
fire
trying
over
to be.
there?
I'm
I'm
over
sorry.
here
You on
trying to be
fire? You
cute.
on fire? You on fire over
I'm
there?
trying. I'm over here being terrible.
Oh,
I was over here trying to be fly, y'all. Dog it.
stomp it out that carpet. Now you got hardwoods. I forgot in that road. Stomp it out there. We don't want no. Them ants good.
No, here.
But no, I think to me how he portrays himself, the image is a big part of his life. What he looks like doesn't matter what it is, as we can see that
Hmm.
that's what's but what it looks like, and I think that hey, here goes someone that was safe that he could control to a certain degree, and again, right? Everybody ain't ready for them text messages. Everybody ain't ready for all that. Everybody
Hmm.
ain't ready for all that. But what's interesting though, I don't know these people, or if I do know them, I wasn't familiar with the name that he said in that video where he's apologizing to his family, his friends, and people who know him. Like he named that particular person that was coming after him.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and so I'm sitting up here like, oh, okay, so this stuff is, and he was very clear about them coming after black men that's doing certain
Oh yeah.
things, and
Oh
like he
yeah.
was he was very
But
clear
again,
about that. And what if they are paying this other girl a whole lot more money to do whatever?
guys,
It could be a number of
that
things.
they said that Shannon Sharp was already, according to some of the stuff I've seen, they were already close to getting a $10 million settlement, so this wouldn't even air. And now Shannon Sharp, here's the deal, guys. Again, I'm gonna repeat it. When you're black, you learn how to be poor. All of your credibility and character is based around being poor. Your whole thing is based around these rules we got. When Rhonda and I did the podcast last week, I had somebody reach out to me and say, Jeff, man, when y'all talked about all the rules black people got to go over to somebody's house, until you hear somebody say it, it really don't even like now when you they said literally when you said all the things black people ask before we go somewhere, right? Other races don't have these rules.
But who
And
got lynched?
now
Who
well, I
end up
agree.
in
No, no,
rivers?
right?
Who
No, I
end
agree.
up in yeah?
My point to you is, we take everything serious because of our ancestry. So I'm glad Rhonda said that. Now Shannon Sharp coming out and apologizing and that kind of thing. Now I'll be honest, I'm surprised ESPN is still letting them come on TV. Because
Wow.
they had because again it used to be believe all women. There was a lot of men who got let go of ESPN back when the Me Too movement was happening and that kind of thing. So I'm surprised that people that ESPN is letting them stay on. But that just goes to show you how good Shannon Sharp is now. Why am I saying it? Because Rhonda just preached, right? Guys, what y'all got to understand is when you get to a level beyond anything you could have asked, thought, or imagined, that's a spiritual promotion. That's a spiritual promotion. If you get a spiritual promotion, but yet your desires are still fleshly, you got a problem. If you got a spiritual promotion, because when you get a spiritual promotion, guys, your mind also has to renew with it, right? Shannon Sharp is over here, but when you craving a 20-year-old, you got to know this is what's going to happen, because this happens to 50-year-olds who date 20-year-olds and don't have the money that Shannon Sharp and the notoriety that Shannon
It'll
Sharp
happen
had.
to 50-year-olds,
It,
especially men that date
yeah, it
52 year
happens all
olds.
the
Yeah.
absolutely no
Right.
money, no money, no honey. She's only with you for that. So I think, Rhonda, one of the things that I think we can learn from it is you who taught Tracee Ellis Ross to 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 achieve what she wants to achieve, or she been doing this thing on the fly. We know Joan from Girlfriend, right? We wanted Joan with William,
I know Bo
right? This
from
is what we
Blackish,
yeah. I,
Rainbow.
I like that. I like the own girlfriends, right? That was my first experience with Tracee Ellis Ross. She was Joan to me,
Hmm.
lawyer, all this kind of stuff, right? Blackish, she in a relationship with Anthony Anderson. I get all that. But y'all tell me who taught Shannon Sharp what he was supposed to do when he become the #1 YouTuber. Podcast, got Bubba Dub under him, Humble Baddies under him, Club 520 with Jeff Teague and his boys under him. Who taught Shannon Sharp what he was supposed to do? Y'all know what he doing? Learning on the fly, just like your first job. You learning on the fly, right? My first job was to wash dishes at a cafeteria. You know what they
You know
said?
how that went.
Hey, look, I was good. I can wash some dishes now.
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
wash some dishes. Now I got distracted a little bit, but I can wash some dishes.
I can't talk. I
Remember?
lasted what 2-3 months at Wendy's working on
Huh?
fries. I had to go be
Yeah.
a hostess.
I'll be a hostess at Ralph's now. But look, my point to you guys is this is why I want to get into this conversation. Because relationships suck. Why do relationships suck? Nobody actually teaches you a relationship based on where you're going and where you're trying to be. Everybody teaches you relationship based on their failed ones. And now you try to stop your relationship from failing. But what does the brain process? Failure. And this is why all of us have, this is why you hear people say marriage is work, relationships are work. Because whoever taught you about relationships taught you from the mindset of a failed one, putting up
But
with
we
everything.
can't
Doing this. Go
forget
ahead, come on now.
that your mama carry you for 9, 10 months, depending on how long you go in the womb. Ain't no telling what you were picking up from that, whether it's nervousness or whatever the case may be. Like it's so many things that has taught us, right? But like everybody say, moms teach their sons how to treat women, and what dads do for their daughters, and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a role that everybody plays. What happens is we find out certain things aren't true as we get older, and then bam, we have to readjust because
Oh, no, Ron. See, stop right there. Y'all, she just preached. She just preached, y'all. She said we got to adjust. Yeah, that's what you do in your role, in your identity. You say, I got to make what I got taught right. That's when the bump and head start. Shannon Sharpe, his desires are still back when he was 20. It didn't follow his spiritual promotion. That we didn't care about Shannon Sharpe this much when he was a Denver Bronco player. But if
you
y'all don't
don't.
believe digital, right? Digital media has changed the game. The only reason this is a story is not because he's a former Denver Bronco player. This man is ruling digital media. We have watched this man go from
I
being
just don't know if
being a
it would have
contributor.
the
Go ahead.
same. I don't know if it'd have the same steam if it was someone else, like the other guy who's top with his stuff on Spotify. I just don't know if it would have the same.
You talking about Joe Rogan or somebody like
I'll
that?
let you say that name.
Well, guys, guys, look. Rhonda, I'm not going to disagree with Rhonda that race may be playing a factor in this, but we as Black people
Because he
have to
making money.
understand. But again, we as Black people got to understand that just like we've learned everything else, we have to learn success. And there's certain rules with success, which is why there's not one book on how to be a failure. You ain't got to. There ain't one book on how to be a failure. There ain't one book on how to be a follower. Every book out there is teaching you how to be successful or how to be in charge. And one of the things you guys got to understand is getting rid of my unbelief. There's a reason why that scripture say, Lord, help my unbelief. You got to unbelieve all of this stuff, guys. I ain't saying you're not going to have a temptation and all this stuff, but there's certain things you can't partake of. And let's go back to the Garden of Eden, guys. You can have everything in this garden, but this tree don't touch it.
Which gonna
This
make
tree
me
don't
want
touch it.
that tree so bad.
Which is going to make me want that tree, but that
Hmm.
tree is going to bring you back to what put you in bondage. Now, by the sweat of your
Well,
brow,
for now,
man, I
bondage
hate it.
ain't all that bad. It ain't all that bad,
Well,
folks. I got this money.
but see, but no. But now everything you worked for, you about to lose it. The only reason he could offer her 10 million is because he knew he had $100 million deal coming. But now that $100 million deal gone. Who about to put $100 million into Shannon Sharpe right now? Because guess what, Ronnie's gonna happen again. We got the FS1 stuff that he was involved in with Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Acho, some of the Skip Bayless. Now we got the leaked sex tape, and then we got this. If you can't control your flesh, guys, that's why the scriptures say the kingdom of God is not flesh and blood. And one of the things you got to understand, if you can't control that flesh and blood, I don't care what blessing you get, you ain't gonna keep it. And you got to learn. What I see with Tracee Ellis Ross and what I see with Shannon Sharpe, two people who can't stand being by themselves. And now
Oh
they want to
no,
choose younger people. They want to choose younger people to
not
try to
Tracy.
control them. I'm sorry?
Not Tracy.
You disagree? You
Not
don't see that
Tracy.
with Tracee? She said
Mm-mm.
she prefer younger men.
No, I know
What
that
you think it
part,
is?
but I don't think she's doing it because she's just automatically lonely. I think she does want to have companionship, but the right kind of companionship. It ain't saying like, "Ooh, let me go take this baby out the crib."
And look, guys, no disrespect to Tracee Ellis Ross, but Tracee Ellis Ross is there's a reason when she gets a chance to be the main, and this is no disrespect. When she gets a chance to be the main, she don't know what to do.
I'm just trying
She
to see
don't know
who
what to
she
do.
was the main with, because I don't know who
I
she's
can't.
ever dated.
That's the point. That's the point.
I just
It
didn't think
never
her life
gets.
had
It,
space for that.
no, they've got plenty of space for it. Y'all can get down in the comments. Y'all help Rhonda understand. 'Cause she don't want to listen to her little brother sometimes. When I tell her these things, y'all can see the tension.
I got your attention. Your doggone
Y'all,
attention.
y'all can see the tension. Why am I saying this to you guys? What can we learn from these two? Be prepared for your success, man. Don't act like it's a surprise. Shannon Sharpe, out of all the stuff he's done, look at what he's dealing with right now. See, guys, Joyce Meyer said something. Joyce Meyer, the televangelist, said, "Enjoy your quiet days of ministry." What are the quiet days for? The quiet days are so you can prepare for this. Because guess what, guys? The same challenge is gonna come to the same people. And what I had to learn how to do was learn how to be alone. Right? I joke a lot. I say I got a couch ministry. It's more like a recliner ministry. Why? Because that's where I spend my time when I get free time. I don't want to be out with anybody who's gonna put me in a position like Shannon Sharpe is in right now. Because what's waiting on you guys, your deception and your attacks are only gonna come from what you desire with your flesh. You smart enough to see the spiritual weapons, but your flesh is different. Your flesh is different, right? And that's what I think. We sitting here looking at Shannon Sharpe, and now, man, to see his face when I just saw that video of him apologizing and trying to explain it, and the first thing we get taught in sales, never justify, defend, or explain. Because if you got to justify, defend, or explain, you already lost. And you in your mind, because you back here when you 20, you think let me explain my case to people so they'll
Mm-hmm.
know my side. But when you get stopped by the cop, what's the first thing they say? You got the right to remain silent.
Oh,
Shannon, go ahead, go ahead,
say,
go ahead,
I was
Ron.
gonna say something else. I was gonna say bam, but they could say that too.
No, that ain't
they
that ain't
could say
no,
that too, but go ahead.
no. But that's Ronnie, but that you got the right to remain silent. That's one of your fundamental rights. Shannon Sharpe should not be making this statement. His attorney should be making this statement. I don't know if y'all saw when
But I
Carmelo
think, but
Anthony.
again, I
Sorry, go
think
ahead.
that's where the narrative is different too. Even with that, you didn't see Skip Bayless come out whenever that stuff went down with them. You didn't see him come out. I didn't, but I don't watch it like that. But you saw Stephen A. Whatever he did, he whatever happened went down with him. Did he come out and make a statement about something some months ago or a year ago? Whatever he had done, with another situation. I just think that's how the black community responds to things like that. That's
Black people hate attorneys, guys. Black people gonna negotiate with the cop. Don't make my insurance go up. Give me a warning. What you gotta let me do to get out of it? Black people don't
damn.
think that anybody else. Black people don't think anybody else can say their message like they can. Skip Bayless didn't have to come out because Skip Bayless let the attorneys do the work. And what has happened to the story? The story went away. Black people, we don't see it like that, guys. And this is Shannon Sharpe just showed me how to take his money. He's one of those guys. The attorney has already released a statement. Shannon Sharpe had posted a statement on his page. Now he coming out making a video. You done release the girl's name, all this kind of stuff. Let your attorney handle it. Tell your attorney to say what you want to say.
But when you making that amount of money, about to make that amount of money, who you going to really
Mm-hmm.
listen to? Who you going to listen
That's
to?
true. That's true. But you and PB still tell me what to do.
Huh.
Look, let me tell y'all something. I don't care how much money you make. There's one or two people you gonna let say what they need to say. Yeah, there's one or two people.
You claim that's me and PB for you,
Well, no, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying.
because we need to work a little harder.
What I'm saying to you guys is this, man. Your circle gets smaller as you get better. Your circle gets smaller as you get better. I'm watching Shannon Sharpe downward spiral because he's trying to justify, defend, and explain. I'm watching Tracee Ellis Ross help Michelle Obama get her podcast off the ground. And now people questioning Michelle Obama's relationship. Now they questioning Tracee Ellis Ross. That's not the point of these podcasts. Guys, I ain't bringing Rhonda on to make Rhonda look bad, right? A lot of people struggle. Rhonda even says, why are you giving me all these titles? Well, when you're on my podcast, you automatically become my expert.
Oh my
But a
Lord.
lot of y'all don't know how to appreciate that because everybody in your life is always putting you down and making you prove yourself. Ron ain't got nothing to prove to me, right? Ron ain't got nothing to prove to me. So I think that Shannon Sharpe right now and Tracee Ellis Ross, they're stuck justifying, defending, and explaining why they do what they do. But in essence, guys, that's not the problem. The problem is when that development stopped mentally. We're seeing that Shannon Sharpe is at the top of what he does. Tracee Ellis Ross is a hell of an actress. But let's talk about the identity in their development. And a lot of us don't want to give them grace. That dude on the movie Get On Up. What did Little Richard tell James Brown? That devil ain't gonna be in no red suit with no red tail, right? He gonna be in a regular suit, right? And what y'all are seeing right now is that Shannon Sharpe don't belong to himself. Tracee Ellis Ross don't belong to herself. And that's why they want to date younger people because it's something they think they can control. Because that's how they're being treated in their roles.
Well,
Jump in there, Ron. Let me know what you
I'm
know.
gonna take it like this: that Michelle Obama decided to talk to Tracee Ellis Ross about relationships because that's what we do. We talk about relationships, and there's
Well, you ain't
nothing
got to give
else
me the
to
neck
talk
action.
about.
You ain't got to give me the neck act. I can appreciate your take. You ain't got to give me
But
the neck action here.
but I think the difference though, is like when which is why I feel like they're different is because Shannon stuff goes deeper than someone being in a relationship or dating someone younger. This girl is bringing up allegations of some stuff that's some serious stuff, and like,
Black women, they black women. Don't
you
listen
know.
to
But
that.
then I'm also like, how can you say do this to me? But then it's also like I don't know how that worked in my mind, right? And then she's like, do this to me. He like, okay, I don't know how to, but I'll figure it out. Like, and
Guys,
I think that no,
Ron is
because
talking
every
about
time
the
I thought the
cultural
article that you
differences.
sent me was over, it was more. And I was like, what the heck? That's what I sent you. That
Yes.
article. Wow, crazy.
From glory to glory. From glory to glory to
No, that whole
glory.
glory to glory. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he probably is more comfortable with the other part of the anatomy. I don't know, but I couldn't stop reading. So I couldn't imagine reading the whole thing. I'm like, well, dang,
Bruh.
this why I'm single.
Oh my God.
This why I'm single.
Yeah. You ain't about that life, bruh.
No, well,
You ain't
evidently
about that life.
you must be because you married. I'm sorry, as my aunt Essie would say, you married.
Man,
Yeah,
guys,
man,
I'm
ain't
telling
about
y'all.
that life. Ain't about that life.
See, let me tell you. See, one of the things I tell people is, I'm glad Rhonda brought that up. A lot of people
Why?
don't understand why Sodom and Gomorrah was in the Bible. And this is going to be on my Jeff Sunday Service channel in a little bit. I'm working on a message for that. Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't in the Bible because there was an issue with Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was in the Bible because don't let these types of things distract you while I got you on your journey somewhere, right? Everything Rhonda reading, everything we reading with Shannon Sharpe and what this girl is releasing, she knew in order to get this 50 million, I got to be able to get these details that people are
Yeah,
just
you
going to
got to
be
touch his soul. You
disgusted.
got to touch his whole soul.
People going to be disgusted when they hear, how dare
Now,
he
I
do
didn't say I
this?
was disgusted. I was just like, wow, crazy.
Like you clutch your pearl. You just said you clutch your pearls now.
Just so I could understand what was happening.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Relationships, relationships can either free you or relationships can imprison you. And one of the things that's happening when we reading what they're doing, what you're watching is a person who has resources up here. That when you broke, you don't get taught you can do that. Everything you thought you was killing when you were broke, you read this story, you like, whoa. First of all, there was one thing where she said, "I'm gonna send you a picture, but it's gonna be
You
twenty
really
five
can't say
thousand
nothing
dollars
to
per
what she
cheek."
said on this podcast. You really can't
Yeah,
repeat
right.
nothing.
She said 25,000 per cheek.
Yes,
25,000 per cheek, yo.
yes.
Yeah, right. Like at the end of the day, guys, look, man, keep it. I, I don't want to see that. Right, you keep it. But look at what they were doing at that level. See, guys, when you're at a certain level, you your body is going to just expand into what it wants.
Mm-mm. That ain't the word. Don't
Right?
be using that word.
It's going to expand though. Your
No,
thoughts are going to expand.
no.
Your mind is going to expand, right? Your thoughts are going to expand. Your mind is going to expand. That's why you have to take those thoughts and make sure that they don't become greater. They don't become a greater hunger than what your hunger is for continuing on your spiritual growth. Shannon Sharpe ain't gonna ever be able to get rid of this now. This thing gonna follow him. This thing gonna follow him for the rest of his career. And that's what I hate about what's happening right now. And when we say what can we learn from Tracee Ellis Ross and Shannon Sharpe about relationships, guys, one of the things you're gonna find is relationships are obsolete now. Everything is a business. Everything is a business. And if you don't operate a relationship like a business, if you don't manage everything in your life, it's gonna come back to bite you. What do you think about Ryan when you hear me say that?
I mean, it's unfortunate, but that is what it is. Social media has
Mm-hmm.
taken the feeling out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got to be the likes, it's got to be the comments, it's got to be the sponsorships, it has to be all of this, all of that. And I mean, to where you literally have to look at someone posting something and seeing if it has hashtag ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll know if they just being
Mm-hmm.
paid to say something or to represent this
Absolutely.
particular product or company. Like you don't know. And then regular folks who pockets ain't as deep will believe this stuff. And
I'm
like,
glad
nah, boo
Rhonda just
boo, like you can't do that.
yes. I'm
Not
glad
you.
Rhonda just preached. Yeah, right? I'm glad Rhonda just preached. And one of the things y'all gonna find is everything is a business. And for a lot of y'all out there, y'all hate business. You hate your job. And the only reason you got taught these relationships the way you got taught was because of the condition you were in when you got taught it, right? Your financial condition was not in a position to teach you like this. Every relationship, guess what, guys? Every relationship is a business now. Why? If I go to divorce court right now, every one of my text messages is going to be printed off. You don't know if your phone call is being recorded or not right now. Shannon Sharpe having this conversation, did he know he was being recorded? Right? Everything y'all are seeing Tracee Ellis Ross and Shannon Sharpe go through, you going through the same thing. Except you don't have no money like that for somebody to come after. They just waiting.
Or to
But
care.
or they care. Guys, you better assume every text message is being saved, everything is being screenshot, and every phone call being recorded. So if I know that I'm being set up, and when I say that, I hate to use that word. If I know I'm being recorded, if I know everything being documented, why would I get into a relationship?
Mm.
And I don't have a business mindset, right? Because at my job, I know that's happening. At my job, I know they recording my call.
Well,
At my
because you're
job, I know
human.
they.
At the end of the day, you're human. And
Oh,
that's why you'll always end up in a relationship because someone will want somebody. You will
and that's
want
why I disagree.
somebody.
And that's why, guys, let me tell y'all, I gotta say it. We just came off of Easter, bro, resurrection, right? Jesus said, "I'm only doing." Jesus said, "I only do what I see my Father doing, and my Father's always working." And what y'all got to learn is this: in your relationship right now, assume that what happened to Shannon Sharpe, text message saved, phone call being recorded, everything is being documented. At your job, you thrive at that because you know it's happening. But your relationship, you got to bring that same energy to your relationship because that's what it is now. Rhonda, what's your takeaway as we get ready to get out of here tonight? Get ready to watch you play off.
Man, don't trust nobody out here.
Oh, you got to say don't trust me.
Don't trust nobody.
I done did everything but trust me. What?
No, man, I'm here for you. Like, man, I get it. You want to have somebody, want to have a companion, like, do you? But I just think you're gonna sacrifice something, career or relationship, or possibly even both. Because I think in this day and age, where it was already hard, I think it's even harder now to maintain something that's sustainable. And then on top of that, if you're in the spotlight, come on, man. If you're in the spotlight, man, you just better hope somebody say hey to you.
That's true. Well, I can tell y'all. I can tell y'all my takeaway. I can tell y'all my takeaway. Growing up, I got taught relationship with emotion. No such thing as emotion. Everything is business, and you better approach your relationship as a business, or don't even get in it. Because what y'all seeing happening, the reason people can't maintain a relationship, but they good at their profession, is how they approach their profession. It's different than how they approach their relationship.
Well, Hand
You
raised.
right? And now, guys, your relationship should be based on finding somebody who wants a professional relationship where everything is documented, laid out, just like your profession, just like your job. Well, guys, there ain't no reason to get in it, man. And y'all know what it is. It's Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff. Y'all do me a favor, get down in the description, man. Support the channel, get the merch, like, share, comment, and subscribe. The link is below, man. Make sure y'all go check out my other channel, Jeff Sunday Service. I'm going to tag it in the box up here. I don't know if it's going to be on this side or that side. I don't know how they're going to load this thing. But Jeff Sunday Service, check it out. Follow me on that channel, man. Appreciate y'all being on. Is Rhonda and Jeff crazy? Or are we on to something? Rhonda, let them know where they can find you on the socials before we get out here.
On IG at RNB LNBT, RIP Prince.
And y'all know what it is, man. And until next time, we gonna holler. We gonna holler.
Oh, are we
Hold
gonna
on.
holler?
We gonna holler. Hold on.
Hot beat, smoke it, drink it down. With your boys, it got Jeff around.
Woo.
Feel the vibe, we're set to roll. Press play, let's lose control. Sip a drink and smoke will swirl. Join the convo around the world. Relationships we dissect slow. Current events, we let them flow.